All right, so the question is, would you buy your own house for the market value today? When I ask the question, most homeowners say no, it is overpriced. Then I suggest, how about a price reduction? Or if the market gets softened, what would happen then? They say, no, I don't want that market to go soft because I would lose my equity. I would lose all the luxurious features such as line of credits, HELOCs. I would lose my lifestyle. I would lose maybe a cottage. I would lose a yacht, or I would lose something that propelled me forward all these years. On top of that, most of the people are very afraid and scared of the pension. What will they do if the home ownership got sliced down by 50%? On the other hand, I have a story that I would love to share with you guys, and it's between a father and a son. They went at it at a kitchen table. All right, so we were just sitting there, and obviously, the question of real estate comes up all the time, right? And the father says, listen, son, you need to work much harder in order to get all the nice things that I got. And then the son, being 27 years old, tells him, look, I do work hard. I finished school, I graduated with honors and all of that stuff, and I cannot make these numbers work, right? And I had questions for both of them, right? And I said, look, how about if we slice the home prices right now by 30%, by 50%? And then the father said, no, absolutely not, right? I worked for this house. I put all these, upgrades, and I want the value to stay high, right? But then I asked them the same question. Well, would you like your son, Gen Z, also to buy a property, right? And then the son looked at me and looked at his dad and said, yeah, dad, like, what do you say about that? And then the dad said, yes, absolutely. I want my son to own real estate and whatnot, right? So we were going back and forth. So it's almost a paradox situation because we're not moving forward. So I had 4 questions that I asked the dad, and I would love to get into it right now with you guys. So let's see how the dad answered. So, would you be okay with losing $500,000 in equity if it meant your kids could afford a home, right? So the dad's home value was roughly around $1.8 million, right? So the son said, look, like if it went down by, like, let's say even $500,000, right? And then me being 27 years old with six figure earning today, I cannot afford nothing. But let's say a couple gets together, we might be able to afford something maybe around $1 million, right? So, but the question was specific. Would you be okay with the price going down by $500,000? So the dad answered, honestly, no. That's my retirement, but it hurts knowing that may never afford what I have, right? So it's just a paradox, right? Like, like even the dad knows that he will not be able to afford his own house. Once the retirement hits, game over, buddy. Your house that you live in, that's it. It's basically not a home anymore. And all these years was basically considered an investment, right? So in a way, it is sad. So let's go to the question number 2. If no one can afford to buy your house, is it really worth what you think it is? All right. So the dad answered, on paper, yes. In real life, maybe not. But I'm not ready to accept that, right? So even people are struggling with that fact, right? Like they're struggling knowing like these numbers from 2022 feathering down and all of that stuff. They know they're in that pickle, but they're not ready to accept the fact that they have to sell it now. And in their head, they're selling it at a loss, right? So it's just like, I know where I could have been, and now this is what I'm getting. So it's kind of like a paradox situation, right? So number 3, are we really in a free market, or we are just protecting a broken system that benefits us? So the dad answered, feels like we're protecting it because it worked for us all along. Now it's breaking down and we are scared to admit it, right? So yes, most of the people, like obviously the people in business, the people that have seen ups and downs maybe a little bit, but they have seen what happened along these, couple of decades in the past. So they know what they're going up against, right? It's just admitting that it's another story, right? Like even the business, like that gentleman, like the father, knows business, right? Like knows that every year he's been struggling a little bit more and a little bit more, and then having that exit feels twice as hard because for 2 3 4 decades they've been working on a particular business, on a particular idea, and now it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm in that threshold where I should retire, maybe need to retire, but I don't want to let go of what I have acquired all along. All right, so question number 4: is generational wealth only possible if the next generation starts from death? So that was a fully loaded question, but that's not wealth, that's a trap. But most of us don't see it until it's too late. So that's how the dad answered. So basically, like I wanted to share this story with you. I was there, like between a father and a son, trying to go at it, right? Like, and I see in father's eyes, right? Like I see that he doesn't consider his son a waste of time or waste of talent or waste of anything. Like I do believe that the father acknowledges his son and knows all the loops and the situation that his son and that Gen Z generation is involved in, right? And I just don't think that not only that particular father, I just don't think that cycle of that generation is basically not ready. Like they don't want to let go, right? Like maybe it's part of ego, maybe it's part of everything, but essentially, like, let's sit down for real. Like most of these people are considering their home, their primary residence, they're considering it being their protection plan, their retirement plan, period. And I heard it 98% of the time. So I hope you got some value out of this. Please share to somebody that you might think will benefit from this particular idea. Maybe you share to somebody that's Gen Z, and let's see what they will say, because it is very important that you guys comment on it. Do you think I'm like on the right track here? Like, do you think the story is not really real, or it doesn't resonate properly, and this is just a random story that's just gonna pass by, or it really hit the spot? Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.